Morning, everyone. This is Ryan Ettner with your Tuesday, November 19th morning wake-up call. In overnight trade, we see corn move just a little bit higher, but that is enough to take the march back to the 440 fair value level. So after seeing corn run about 10, 12 cents underneath that level, quickly seeing it bounce back to that as of this morning. So we would now say that the corn is fairly priced, so that puts it dead in the middle. We could go a little overpriced, we could go a little underpriced, but as of this morning, this represents the 50-50 dead in the middle mark here at 440. Over in beans, still seeing the January beans as of this morning at 10.06, still well under fair value there. Fair value there is 10.35 in January, so there is some more upside in beans, but there is also still concern of China slowing down their purchases. And we're seeing that in overnight trade yet again, where they have the beans slightly lower, mostly on concerns that China is going to slow or stop their buying of U.S. beans. We did see 8 a.m. sales for beans yesterday. In fact, we saw sales for beans, meal, and oil, but that destination was not China, and China is the main concern. So in total, we'll say that exports have slowed. There's no arguing that. This weekly report on Thursday will show a slowdown, but what we don't know is if China is coming to a complete halt or a drastic slowdown yet. So we'll have to see Thursday's report to know for sure, but that is the number one reason why beans remain under fair value. We'll also briefly mention South American weather, briefly mention it because still Brazil seeing solid rains, and Argentina, which did have a slightly drier forecast last week, is now back to moderate to active rains as well. So there, as far as the 10-day maps go, there are no major concerns on that map. Flipping over to wheat, the good to excellent rating for the hard red winter wheat at 49%. That's the best on this given week in 5 years. Trade expected 46. The 5-year average is 45. So we are well over those two numbers. And again, like we said, the best good to excellent rating at this time of the year in 5 years. So that may add a little bit more pressure on the market today, but we are also seeing the U.S. dollar come off the recent spike high. It's been a very slow correction, and to this date, it isn't that large of a correction yet, but just seeing it move away from that spike high has eased some export concern for down the road when it comes to wheat. Over in cattle, box beef was higher yesterday. That makes the third Monday in a row that box beef was higher. Choice was up $3.94. Select was down 69 cents. Put it all together, take off last week's $2.25 lower cash trade, and Packers are starting this morning with gross profits at negative 15 cents. So nice bounce in the box beef. But with Packer gross profits still negative, at any level negative, it's hard to assume a steady, much less higher cash trade just yet. One other thing to mention about the box beef is that 2 Mondays ago, the box beef was higher. All the other 4 days was lower. And then last Monday, same thing. Monday's box beef was higher. Tuesday through the rest of the week, all lower. So again, this is why we want to say you need to see 2 or 3 higher box beef reports in order to get fundamentally a sound feeling on the fundamental side. Now, we know speculators have been overly optimistic for 2.5, 3 weeks now. So seeing even one higher box beef report took the cattle up $1 yesterday, and the fats and feeders were up 227.5 in the January. And we do have a cattle on feed report Friday. We are even anticipating on that report a small increase to placements. But we've seen plenty of times before where even a cattle on feed number that's supposed to be slightly bearish, trade still pre-buys it. This is the number one thing that trade loves, pre-buying in cattle. So we'll see what we get. On the fundamental side, we need more higher box beef reports. On the speculative side, we should expect more general future support on even small positive news. But if we're going to end the week higher, we need a higher cash trade, and that needs a higher box beef. If you have any questions on anything you've heard here, give me a call direct, 815-578-6159, and continue tuning in to Morning Wake Up Calls.